someone said you cannot know where you are going unless you know where you are. Just like the way most of us who are, ukitaka kwenda mahali, you just request the Uber and then the Uber will itakwambia where are you, and then ukishaiambia where you are inakulizanga your destination ama where you want to go. So the same thing with budgeting. It guides you from where you are, take you where you want to be. Hello viewers, and welcome to Dime Talk. This is where we break down all the complex financial topics, and we equip you with the necessary knowledge to make sure that you are able to carry out your day-to-day activities and you are able to treat well money. And I'm your host, James Gashiri. Today we are going to talk about budgeting. Generally, what is budget? I know deep down kuna kitu umeweza kufikiria, and then you are thinking like, okay, what is budget? Budget, I know it. You know, some of us we assume tunajua what is budget. But generally ina kwa njia rahisi ama in a simpler terms, budget is like you have estimate of incomes or even estimates of expenses. So today we are going to talk about everything about budget, and you realize that how you budget your today's income will determine 10 years down the line, even in your retirement. You will determine it will be determined by how well you have worked on your budget, on your small things. So generally when we talk of budget, is like do you know how you spend on airtime? Do you know how much is your income? Ama generally wewe ni life kupeleke tu na rieng pore tu vile tu maisha ikikuja na wewe unakimbia nayo. But today I would want us, sisi kama as students of financial literacy, I would want us to move from where we are currently to a purposed way of handling your finances. And generally, when I talk of budgeting, you ushajipata in a situation whereby you find either you are a retiree, you find that still you need some money. But the big question is, did you plan for your retirement? Did you plan? The decision that you made in your heydays, are they amounting to something? Because you find, even as individuals where we are today, if we don't plan through the budgets, that those budgets, they will start from the daily budget, they go to the monthly, they go to the annual budgets, and then zinabadilika, zinakuwa kwa short term, zinaenda kwa mid term, then long term, so that even as you work on your whatever you are doing today, many years down the line, you have catered for your future. So that will leave us, tutapata tutaondoka kwa zile scenario by you are at an old age, and still today you rely on people to give you money, or your children to give you money, which I'm not saying ni mbaya, sio mbaya hata kidogo. If you have some chums, send them to your parents. But if you as a person, you don't plan well, eventually you'll end up in that situation. You'll be that person tomorrow. So today, because some of us usually come up with those goals and our budget, perhaps we concentrate much on the assets. I'm not saying they are bad. Assets are good, plots are good, homes are good vehicles are good. I'm not denying. They show that you are living good life, but you could be living a good life at the expense of your future. So generally, I wouldn't want us we be people who wenye tumefika umri fulani, and then we are still we have assets, a lot of assets, and all of us can be a witness. You have seen people who have a lot of assets, but because they are not planned for their cash flows, unapata bado they don't have like the daily funds to make sure that they live day to day. So through this podcast, we are going to understand better issues to do with budgeting. And as we dive deep in that field of budgeting, someone said that you cannot know where you are going unless you know where you are. Just like the way most of us who are ukitaka kwenda mahali, you just request the Uber, and then the Uber will itakwambia where are you, and then ukishaiambia where you are, inakulizanga your destination ama where you want to go. So the same thing with budgeting. It guides you from where you are, take you where you want to be. And you find from where we are currently, we know we have a lot of myths as to why we don't do budgets. And today let me break them. And I'm also going to give some of the myths that some of us huwa tunapeana or we justify ourselves, like kwa nini hatuna budget. And one of them is I'm not good at maths. Mimi sio mwalimu wa maths. Just like the way they're saying mwalimu wa maths uko wapi. You don't need to be good in maths to actually keep a budget or even to prepare a budget. Nowadays we have improved, we have grown, and you find there are Excel sheets, spreadsheets actually, even in Google Sheet there we have programs that are free to maintain our budgets. Another myth is that we assume that we don't have anything surplus for it to be planned. Who told you? Whatever you have can be planned and it can be budgeted for. Because the way budget operates is like the way referee operates in a football game, whereby anytime you hear, okay, I'm offside, so unapatanga referee huwa anapiga kipenga, you're offside. The same case the budget does for you. So you find that anytime you have expensed something that was not there, the budget will keep you in line. The budget will ensure that when the offside. So anytime there is an VR, it happens like whenever you have expense and you are evaluating the budget, VAR, the video assistant referee will come and tell you, okay, this one was offside, this one was wrong, and replay for the same. Another myth is, my job is secure, I'm guaranteed for the income, mi job yangu iko sawa. For the next 10 years, I'm guaranteed of my job. But always plan for uncertainties. Always plan for that. Because kwa Kiswahili huwa tunasema ya kwamba kuajiriwa sio kuzaliwa. Always plan, always have a budget. Because with the budget, you're able to break down that myth. Because in a budget, you always have even like there is some amount you allocate for you allocate actually for emergencies. Another myth is that my income is uncertain. I always get some income rise now and then. No, plan for that. Even because you are not guaranteed. Because most of the time when you are budgeting for your income, you budget on what you have, not what you think you are going to get. So that brings on board something very, very crucial for us, that those myths, they are there, yes. And most of the time tunapatanga tuna align na hizo myths, but you find it is the weaker personality in us that ensures that hatufanyi nini, yani we align with that, because we want to justify why we are not carrying out a budget. And most of the time you find Hujaikaa chini. Yes, you spend a lot. Unakaa chini unajiambia okay, yes, sina pesa mingi, I don't need a budget, I'm always on deficit. But how don't us we visualize, like for those people who are in self-employment, they don't have a guaranteed like kind of a source of income. So they always think, okay, what am I planning for? What am I budgeting for? But you realize if you're able to take those line items, hizo kidogo kidogo, you're able to realize that you as an individual, there is a lot of things that perhaps if you could have budgeted in a way better, they would even have become lesser expensive to you, and then they would have aided you even in achieving some goals. Like if you look at that hustler in a critical way, hustlers, I assume they say they are in a shop, and they would call themselves like they live hand to mouth, but that's not the case. Those people have a lot of money at their disposal. I know, I now will give a live testimony. One, I engaged an entrepreneur one day, and then she was telling me, mimi ni mama wa mboga, but sasa wewe ukiniambia I plan, what am I planning for? Then I told her, can you give me like day-to-day activities zako, and then we shall see how well I can assist even your business to come up with a budget. And the first thing she told me, nikikuja asubuhi, the first thing I do, unapatanga mtu wa chai anapita, so namwambia kuja nipigie mayai mbili, si wa mayai, wa chai. So in the morning naletewa chai, which will roughly cost me around 30 shillings, na chapo ni mbao. So the moment nimeingia kwa job hivi, I will have consumed 50 shillings. Then masaa saa 5 itafika hivi, nione mtu wa mayai amepita, nimwambie nipigie mayai mbili. That will be roughly another 50 shillings, because assuming that each egg is going at around 25 shillings. Then that's not all. Saa 7 ikifika, mimi ni hasura, siwezi afford chakula ya 250. So today, nitaona kuna madhe ananileteanga chakula at a raw cost of around 150 shillings. So hiyo ndakura. Then masaa ya saa 10 ikifika, I'll just take tea, that's another 30 shillings. And at the end of the day, I will have something to consume. Nitapelekea familia, so I'll have to buy like 2 kgs of 1 kg of a packet of unga. I'll have some groceries to take home, and then there are those transport, our income. So roughly that individual may call himself or herself a low income earner. That's some good money that goes to some expenses zenye hakuwa amepangia, but they become accustomed to that. Like if I don't consume those, it means even I can have a headache. But how much is that compared to the business? How much is that when you consolidate that amount of money, ukicompare na the business you are doing? So you find if you take 280, you multiply by roughly, assume the business person or even the individual works for 25 days. Yeah, if you take 280, you multiply by 26 days. That's roughly around 7,280. Actually, that's short of around 20 shillings for it to be 7,300. That is on the basic commodities. This is like all that has gone to consumption. But you still say, I don't have much for budgeting. That's a myth. Another myth that people associate themselves with is that, especially the people in employment, they say, I don't have a debt, why should I budget? Yes, it's good for you that you don't have a debt, but plan. Move away from that myth of that I don't have a debt. Then another myth that most of us usually console ourselves with is, I'm not disciplined. I know I'll come up with a budget, but I won't follow it. So those are just myths. Let's to say that, oh, discipline, oh, I will always get a pay rise, I will always I don't need a budget. No, those are myths. And I would want us to move away from those myths and we be objective on how our financial lifestyle is. Because I want us to move even from a pay slip or paycheck to paycheck. I want us to move from that. I want us to be intentional. I don't want us viewers that even after 5 years or 10 years, we say, hey, okay, I wish I knew. You know, like I remember like in high school, there was that tutor ama mwalimu alikuwa anashinda akisema make hay while the sun shines. I don't want us to be those people that when it is raining, that's when we are rushing to make hay, because eventually itatuletea tu mahasara. So now moving from those dynamics of like those myths that we should try and console ourselves with, I want us to look at like generally na hii budget tunaambiwa ama tunajaribu kudiscover leo, what is the importance of that? What is the importance of budget? Because yes, I may say a lot of things, but inanifaidi na nini at the end of the day? So it's good. I want us to go then we had like, if not 5 or even 10 reasons as to why we should have a budget. One of the importance of having a budget is we get control of our finances, because through the budget huwa tunaweza kujua, we are able to know where we are as individuals. We know our strength, na tunajua ni wapi hatuwezi pita, because we know like nikipita hapo nitakuwa nimesupersede the capability of my budget. So you find one of our biggest strength, or one of the best importance of us having a budget is like we'll be in control of our finances. 2, we are able to manage our expenses, because we have already foreseen what we are going to expend on, and then we have put that down, be it on a paper or a spreadsheet, so we know like the direction we want our expenses to go. So we find we are able to manage our expenses. So 3, another importance of us having a budget, you are able to plan for your savings and also investments. And this one, actually, I know I'm going to talk later at our other episodes on deeply about savings and the 50-30-20 rule that stipulates how well we are supposed to save and everything. But through a budget, it becomes very easy to do that. 4, we are able to plan for emergencies, because in a budget you are able to come up with a percentage amount, so you're even able to establish ile kitu inaitwa emergency kit, whereby with the time you find it is supposed actually like standard state that it should have like 3 to 6 months of your monthly expenditure. So but because it is usually built pore, you find through the budget we are able to even establish that. Number 5, we are able to improve our spending habits, because as I had said earlier, budget is like a referee. Like anytime you're off time, kipenga. So perhaps you're that individual who does impromptu. Unasikia kuna fashion mpya, there is a new suit, there is a new car. So you find working with a budget huwa inajaribu kukuarain. Anytime you're offside, kipenga. Anytime umeenda against like something that you are not budgeted for, you realize that you don't have funds for that, because as we should say is like pesa yenye haijaitwa jina, it is dangerous money, and inaweza kuwa anything, any money that you have not allocated, or you have not named that money, or you have not planned for it, it can become anything. So that is one of the importance of us having a budget. 7, stress reduction. You realize whenever you have control of situation, be it finances or be it whatever you are undergoing through, and you are able to manage it, 1, it reduces your stress, meaning even you're able to live healthy. And we say there is no health. You could be financially healthy, but if your body is not healthy, there is no wealth in that, because the first wealth is your health. Then the 8th reason why we should have a budget is it creates awareness in our subconscious mind, because there is a way the human beings are trained, who wanna trainiwa like to reason in a given way, because we should say that all human beings are rational, but that's not the case. But when you have a tool ambayo inakusaidia kuweka mikakati ama kupanga, huwa inakucreate awareness, like you know what I should do and and when should I do it. So that's another importance of us having a budget. And the risk, last and not the least, 1, it creates that long-term financial stability, because as I had stated earlier, like the small decisions you make today, the small budget you implement today, after 10, 20, 30 years, they will differentiate who got it right and who got it wrong. So if you want to achieve financial stability, financial freedom, budget is the way to go. So next, we are going to talk about the types of budget. And there are several, but generally the ones that are usually recognized mostly, there are 5. And I will start with the first one. One is zero-based budget. This zero-based budget is the budget that whereby you start from scratch. Let's say, be it on your personal finance, or be it you are in a business, so you start from zero. So you assume that there are no chances of wastage. So you start from zero, then you're able to grow it according to the activities that they are going to come up from the departments, or even their key activities zenye unafanya kwa biashara yako. The next one is usually the incremental budget. This incremental budget huwa tunatumia historical data, and then huwa tunaamua like this year what are the goals do we want to achieve. So you find that once you have set like the goals, then you're able to add like a given percentage. Let's say like I want to grow the business by 10, 20%. So you find I use the historical data, that was the base, like the base years. Let's say like if you're in year 2024, year 2023 becomes the base year. Then we are able to use the percentage that is that we want to grow the business with, and then we're able to get both our incomes and also our expenses. The next type of a budget is the value proposition budget. This budget assumes that there should be no wastage. So we ask ourselves, what value are we adding? The activities we are taking, what value is it adding to the budget, or even to the organization or to us as individuals. So you take like you start like a given activity, then you go through it, and then you're able to see the value that is bringing. So you don't allocate money to anything if it is not bringing any value to the organization or to you as an individual. The last type of a budget is activity-based budgeting, whereby you work backwards, whereby you start with the activities, then unajiuliza na hii activity nafanya, what is the cost involved with this. So I know insurance is not that common, but it is still used, because you take a given activity, then you ask yourself what is the cost that is involved in funding this activity, then you run with it, and then you come up with a budget. So generally those are some of the key types of budget. I know there are many other, sometimes even the 50, 30, 20 is usually described as a type of a budget, but for me in this series I would want to talk about the 50 20 30 rule as type of a strategy that is used to manage a budget, or even a strategy that is used to come up with a budget. Thank you.